जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी
यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी
यशोदानंदन यमुना तीरवनचारी
यशोदानंदन व्रज राधा बिहारी श्री राधे
राधा कुंज बिहारी राधा कुंज बिहारी राधा कुंज बिहारी श्री राधे
निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग
निताई गौरंग जय निताई गौरंग जय निताई गौरंग
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल
विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ISKCON founder Acharya BBT founder Acharya Divine Grace श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की भूमि वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की द्वारकापुरी धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की श्री पंढरपुर धाम की गंगामय यमुनामयी की भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की समावेत भक्त वृंद की श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री योग गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ षडगो स्वामी प्रभुगण की वर्तमान आचार्य वृंद की ब्रह्ममाध्व गौड़ीय गुरु शिष्य संप्रदाय की श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसनेशनल भगवत प्रोग्राम all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories to assembled devotees all glories all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. So, first of all, thank all of you on behalf of me, my wife, and my daughter for coming and gracing the occasion to all the devotees. So, though we are so unqualified, I have a few confessions and a few acknowledgements and a few requests to make all of you. So, we do not come from a Brahmin family or a very cultured family. We come from a very, very simple background. And I think it was in the year 1993 was the first time that I met Radheshyam Prabhu and Gaurang Prabhu. That was when Radheshyam Prabhu was in the civil dress and he was in pant and shirt. And that time he used to come to Bajaj and he used to give the classes. And I just attended that class. I still remember like the first time when I met, Prabhuji was telling like, do you see like all these souls are wandering in this world, they are all suffering. So for me, I could not connect at all. Like I still remember those words so strongly. So we have come a long way from what we were and what we are trying to do. But we also know at the same time that we have a long, long way to go in our spiritual journey. So I think in the year 1999 when I got married, that was the time Gaurang Prabhu, he gifted me the Gaur Nitai, which is also there in the altar. So Radheshyam Prabhu was there that time also for the welcoming of Gaur Nitai in Bombay. So then it was our desire that we should have Krishna-Balram. And it had been almost like 4 or 5 years we have been somehow meditating, but then we were thinking maybe we are not qualified. So then finally we thought like, okay, we should just ask the seniors. Then my wife spoke to Jana Mataji, then I spoke to Jaidev Prabhu, then Gaurang Prabhu and Radheshyam Prabhu. They said that yes, you should have the deities. So that is how we then took this kind of a bold step. But I know that without the mercy of devotees, it is impossible. So it is said that it takes a village to raise a child. But when devotees are there, then village comes along with them. So then it becomes very easy. So we are very, very thankful to all the devotees for having come. It's impossible for us to take the names of so many devotees who have helped. Especially, I would like to thank Her Grace Jano Mataji, who are hosting the deities for almost 2.5 months in her house when all the preparations were going on. And I also thank Jaidev Prabhu for tirelessly tolerating us and always guiding us in this journey. And my prostrated thanks to Radheshyam Prabhu for coming and gracing the occasion. And so I request Radheshyam Prabhu to speak a few words about Krishna-Balram and the whole spiritual path. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. It's coming? Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravane Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. I was told to speak in English. Should I speak in English or Hindi? You can take a vote. You can ask the vote. Accordingly, I'll speak.
हरे कृष्णा, जिनको हिंदी में चाहिए तो हाथ ऊपर कर सकते हैं, तो बाकी सबको अंग्रेजी में. So maybe less than 5%.
Then I'll speak in English.
Thank you.
His Grace Sundar Krishna Prabhu and his wonderful family. They are very senior devotees. Since 1993, they have been practicing Krishna consciousness very wonderfully in Bajaj Auto Company. Later on, they came to Pune, close to Pune Camp Temple, not very far from here, and very rigidly continued their practices. And their little daughter Gopi Leela, when she was a very little child, the mother taught her so many shlokas. She would be reciting hundreds of shlokas, even as a small little child. So they are very devoted family and rendering lot of services in the temple. In Jaydev Prabhu, His Grace Jaydev Prabhu and Hare Krishna Mataji's place, they have been very active in assisting and rendering service. Later on, he had to go to Indonesia and many other countries. But wherever he had to travel for job, sound is not good. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right now? Yeah. So, even in his travels, he kept himself very blissfully Krishna conscious. Now, the very fact that they want to invite Krishna-Balram to their home, besides having Gaurnitai, is a sign of their sincerity and seriousness in spiritual life. And they are also assisting Jaydev Prabhu in their program in varieties of ways. There is a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam which says, Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hrit saroja aseshu dekshita pato nanunata pumsam yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti tat papu pranayase sadanugrahaya. This verse says, the Lord becomes inspired by the devotional service of a devotee and situating himself with the heart of the devotee. Ase means to stand. Shruta ikshita pato danunata pumsam. The devotee hears about the Lord and becomes inspired by the Lord. Shruta ikshita. Shruta means to hear. Ikshita means to see. So we should see the absolute truth first by hearing, and then we should see. So when one is hearing the scriptures regularly, first the Lord is captured in the ears of the devotee, then in the eyes of the devotee. Then the Lord actually inspires the devotee to love him and serve him and worship him. Yadyadhyata urugaya vibhavayanti. He says that different devotees have different type of strong propensities or attractions for worshipping a certain type of deity. Like some devotees like Sridhara Swami, his favorite deity was Narasimhadev. Similarly, I'll show you some of the acharyas had a favorite deity. Who is this? Madhvacharya, his favorite deity was Udupi Krishna. How Udupi Krishna came for Madhvacharya in his life is a very amazing pastime which happened in that Malpe beach when one businessman was bringing his ship which was about to get drowned with a huge amount of wealth. But Madhvacharya saved it, and the man gave a Gopi Chandan to him because he was a sannyasi, he didn't want anything else. Inside the Gopi Chandan was found this beautiful deity of Krishna holding the grinding mortar stick. The stick which Yashoda was doing, churning rod. So although this deity was very difficult to lift, by even 30 hefty Pahlavan men. Madhvacharya very easily lifted him. Singing a poem, he brought him to Udupi and installed him there. Even today, Udupi Krishna is very famous. So, similarly, Sripad Ramanacharya's favorite deity is Ranganath, where he lived and worshipped him. And in the top left corner, you find is the pastime of the Dhanurdas pastime. Yeah. So he even showed Dhanurdas the beautiful lotus petal like eyes of Ranganath. On the right side bottom, you see Dhanurdas taking darshan. And Dhanurdas' eyes, spiritual eyes, or Premanjana Charita became opened after seeing that. He became a very advanced devotee. But Shankaracharya had Badri Vishal in Badrinath. So in this way, you find all the acharyas have installed deities and worshipped them with great affection. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's favorite deity is Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. He lived 18 years in Jagannath Puri, worshipping Lord Jagannath with tears in his eyes, you can see. So, one time somebody was asking my spiritual master, why do you people worship deities? Why are you doing Murti Puja? Maharaj said, we follow in the footsteps of Acharyas. All great Acharyas have worshipped deities with great affection. Mahaprabhu fainted unconscious in front of Jagannath when he first arrived at Jagannath Puri. So that goes to show how much intense love he experienced in the presence of the deities. So Lord appears in this world to give darshan to his devotees in a particular deity form. And that verse which I told you, Adyat Dhyata Urgaya Vavaviyanti Tattat Babu Pranayase Sadanugrahaya, I told you. That verse says that according to the desire of the devotee, I appear in a particular form to receive the worship of the devotee. Like some people, like in our Pune, we have this guy Kadamba Krishna Prabhu in his house. There is a traditional Narsimha deity, which is coming for last 300, 400 years or so, the generation. So they are worshipping Narsingadev in their home. Similarly, some people have been worshipping Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman. Even in ISKCON, some people are very fond of Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman. Some are similarly fond of Radha Krishna. But generally, we have Gaur-Netai deities because they don't take any offense. There are many new people who want to worship Radha Krishna, you know that? But they are told that first you worship Gaur-Netai, free from offenses. They don't take offense. Eventually, you become free from offenses. Then you can bring Radha Krishna. Similarly, Krishna-Balram also is very special. In Delhi and other places in North, recently, Krishna-Balram Rath Yatra has started. How many of you know that? You know that? Yeah, because Jagannath Puri, they have made a policy that you can do Rath Yatra only on those 10 days only. Other times of the year you cannot do. So Paramahansa Gopalakrishna Maharaj was telling, but we have temples all across the globe. How can we stop it? So there was a lot of debates back and forth. Finally, now Krishna Balram are going in chariot now. So that has become very popular in North now. Because Jagannath Baladev Subhadra are ultimately Krishna Balram and their sister Subhadra only. So now when the Lord descends in this world, Sri Prabhupada writes that he descends in a form in which you can see him with your eyes. So the deity form means it's a spiritual form visible to the material eyes. That's a mysterious thing, isn't it? Like there's ordinary paper, there's a currency note. Ordinary paper, you throw it in the raddi. Currency note, you keep it in your pocket. Similarly, the deity form of the Lord is spiritual form visible to material eyes. There are many spiritual items visible to our material eyes. For example, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave Sarvam Bhattacharya and his brother two very important services to be done. He told Sarvam Bhattacharya that you worship this Daru Brahma. Who is Daru Brahma? Who is Daru Brahma? Jagannath. Yeah. And he told your brother should worship Jala Brahma. He said, what is that? Ganga. So both are Brahma. Both are absolute truth. So you will find that the deity form is spiritual, prasadam is spiritual, holy name is spiritual, holy books like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam are spiritual. And holy rivers like Ganga, Yamuna, they are also spiritual. Deities are spiritual. So these are all spiritual items visible to our material eyes. But if we take them materially, then we cannot benefit from them. Like if currency note is given to a child may not know its value. So he may just, crumble it and throw it in the dustbin, or he may tear it also, or put in the mouth. You've seen that? Huh? Children do that. Similarly, we have Bala Buddhi. Actually, children are appreciated for their innocence, but they are also sometimes scolded for their ignorance, foolishness. So we can be innocent like a child, like Raghunandan Thakur. That innocence is most welcome while approaching the deities. When one can transcend one's crooked, speculative intelligence, surpass it, and be able to appreciate the Lord as Sakshat Hari. Pratimatu Minai Sakshat Rajendra Nandan. If you can see like that and worship him, that innocent devotion is very much glorified. On the contrary, if one is ignorant like a child who takes the currency note and tears it and throws it and crumples it. Similarly, if one considers the deity to be ordinary, that kind of ignorance is condemned. Archya Vishnu Shiladir, Gurushu Naramatir, Vaishnava Jati Buddhi, Vishnorva Vaishnavanam Kalimalavatan Padatirthemba Buddhi, Sri Vishnu Namni Sakala Kalushiye, Shabde Samanya Buddhi. And then it says, Sri Vishnu Taditara Samadir Yasyava Naraki Saha. This is a verse by Rupa Goswami. He says many items which are spiritual, which we should not consider them as ordinary or mundane. If we do so, then we don't derive any benefit. Like worshipable deity form. Therefore, one should not take darshan of deity very close. It is said. Because if you see some defect in the turban, or if you see some defect in the jewelry, or if you see some defect in the deity's body, then our mind may find fault. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take darshan from Garuda Stamba. He wouldn't go very near also. Of course, Mahaprabhu was told by Bhattacharya not to go near and faint unconscious. But in general, that is the principle, because one should approach the Lord with reverence. Same with spiritual master also. You see, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu along with associates in Mahaprakash Tila was calling for Haridas Thakur, he offered obeisances at a long distance. You remember? He was on the road. He was not even coming inside. So, and then when Lord asked, what do you want? He said, I only want the remnants of devotees' prasad, he said. So, actually, there is one verse in the 10th canto when Lord Krishna goes to the the lunar eclipse in Kurukshetra. There is one verse which comes there. Sannikarsho attamatrena anadarana karanam. That's a verse. Sannikarsha means nikatata or intimacy. Intimacy leads to, that means familiarity. That familiarity leads to contempt. Sometimes becoming very close to a Vaishnava or to the Lord's deity form, we may sometimes take them very lightly or cheaply, and it may become a routine. So the one should actually have reverence for the Guru, reverence for the deity, reverence for the Vaishnavas, reverence for all spiritual items. They have to be handled with utmost care. In Pune, NVCC temple, once I went to meet His Grace Sankarshan Adhikari Prabhu in his room. So I saw him offering obeisances, but I was wondering, why is he offering obeisances? Maybe he is doing Surya Namaskar or something, I thought. Then I saw in his table, there was a small deity which was like 3 inches high. Only this much height. One finger height. A thin deity, small Krishna deity. And he was repeatedly offering obeisances. The deity. So that is the deity whom he carries with him as he travels. So the deity form may be small and thin, but for him it is the Lord of million universes. He is able to see with that type of reverence. Then he can adore him and worship him and have affection for him. Actually, as our eyes become tinged with salve of love, the Lord becomes more and more human-like and familiar and friendly with the devotee, because devotee is not misunderstanding him. Just like when Sanatana Goswami was walking on the road, he could see Madan Mohan playing with other boys. Later on, he saw him going and standing in the sanctum sanctorum. Why Lord makes himself so cheaply available to his pure devotees? Because they will never misunderstand him. they will always see him with eyes of love. But to others, the Lord may sometimes show his magic and impossible things like swallowing the forest fire, or he may lift a mountain, or many things he may do, like dancing on Kalia and showing the Vishwarupa Darshan in order to prove his supremacy. Because most people in this world go by senses. If they can perceive something by senses, then only they trust. So, like one time in Bombay, when Ganesh was drinking milk in many places, so some devotees tried to put a chair and climb up and try to feed milk to the Ganesh deity in front of Radha Gopinath hall, And Maharaj was passing by and he asked, what are those fellows doing? Huh? Why are they putting something on Ganesh? What happened? Huh? And then devotees went and told Maharaj, many places Ganesh is drinking milk. Huh? So they wanted to try whether our Ganesh also drinks milk. Maharaj laughed and said, what is such a great wonder about it? Generally, the Lord does not eat whatever you give, he doesn't take away. He eats, but he also gives back to the devotees. So the devotees can eat remnants. Correct, no? Many of our Maharajas also do that only. They take only one piece. They'll give back the whole plate. So, but if Lord decides to eat, who can stop him? He may finish everything. Prabhupada says he can eat even all the oceans and mountains, including the whole earth also he can eat. In fact, Lord Krishna showed the whole universe within his belly. He can swallow everything if he wishes. And if he decides to leave behind, then he can accept and still leave behind everything for the devotee. That's quite possible for him. That's not a very great magic. Lord can easily do that. Just like you send an email to somebody, you also have a copy in the sent items and he also got a copy. You cannot say that, because copy is in my computer, that means he must not have got. So Lord can actually take and still leave a copy for you. Because he is the creator of everything. What is impossible for him? But the devotees are satisfied. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when you offer prayer with affection and devotion and sincerity, that mixed with the prasad, when Lord takes, he has accepted your offering. He is recognized, he is satisfied. And then what he leaves behind is his mercy. So, in this way, Archya Vishnu, Shiladir, one should not see him as an ordinary doll or something. One should not see Guru's body to be ordinary. One should not see Vaishnavas based on their jati pati. Like he was telling, I am not born in a Brahmana family. I also agree, he is not a Brahmana, he is a Vaishnava. He is better than a Brahmana. Because Prahlad Maharaj says that, Viprad Vishad Guna Yutat Aravinda Nabha Padaravinda Vimukhat Shvapacham Varishtham Manyeta Darpita Mano Vachane Hitartha Pranam Punati Sakulam Natu Bhurimana. He says, a Chandala Vaishnava is far superior to a non-devotee Brahmana. He says. Because a Brahmana who is not a devotee of the Lord, he is useless. He is asar. But even somebody born in a Chandala family becomes a devotee of Krishna, he is far superior. So, seeing the Vaishnavas as Vaishnavas, and also we should not drink Charanamrit like a very tasty juice. Drink 5 glasses. So, one time I was sitting for my lunch prasad, somebody brought me 4 glasses. Charanamrit. I asked, what is it? It's juice, I asked. Charanamrit. Okay, give me. He said, no, Prabhuji, it's for you only, you can take everything. I said, who brought this practice? It's a bad practice. Then we lose respect for Charanamrit. When you get it abundantly, you start enjoying it like a very tasty beverage. But when we take very little in the hand with remembrance that it is a foot wash of the Lord, like Ganga, then when we drink it, then it will purify our hearts. So, foot wash of the Lord or the devotee, all these spiritual items, they have to be seen spiritually and adored spiritually, remembered spiritually, and then by worshipping them spiritually, one can make a lot of spiritual advancement by that. So, Prabhupada says, when you look at the deity, one should immediately, one's heart and mind should become filled with the remembrance of that personality and his qualities, his activities and pastimes. Therefore, I am going to share with you. It's coming? Yeah. See, this verse appears towards the end of a series of verses. This is talking about Krishna, Balram, and covered boys. Picture you see Gopala Krishna, along with Balaram and all other covered boys, dancing and singing and entering into the forest of Vrindavan. So this is actually 12th chapter of the 10th canto. There's a series of verses, very beautiful verses. What these personalities were doing, Krishna, Balram along with the boys in the forest. Very, very beautiful description. See, most people in the world, they approach God as somebody very great, capable, potent, powerful, to fulfill all our demands and desires, aspirations in life. They go to temple, ring a bell, put a coin with the hope that God will fulfill this desire. There used to be one lawyer who used to come here in those days. He would come and keep his, that case, this thing, in front of Unjiver, and he would bow down. I think you want to win the case, I think. He'd keep. Similarly, then after some time, you find some small little children come in their uniforms. They were worshipping. So I gave them one cookie and asked them, little girls, they were all second standard. You all are so enthusiastic in your devotion. Do you come every day? They said, Uncle, today is the exam day, therefore we have come. They were saying. So generally people know that you should go to God before you start anything or do anything, which is a very wonderful thing. But God is not just an order supplier. So you go and place your demands to Him, and then He will say Tadastu, and then you go back. So this reminds me of one famous verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. You see, once upon a time there was a father with 5 sons, and all the 5 sons were of different nature. The 5th son would only take money from the father's treasury. He would not even look at the father. He would just go to the treasury bureau, open the bureau, take money and go away. He never wanted to see the father. But he would smoke and drink and squander all the wealth. The 4th son was a good boy. He would come to the father and say, Papa, one new model mobile has come. Can you please get it for me? And he will not touch money. Whatever father gives, he will accept. Papa, one new model bike has come. Can you please get that bike? Once he takes what he wants, another 2-3 months, father won't see him. He would generally come for taking whatever he wants, asking father very respectfully. And he would also smile at the father, thank the father. Very good boy. And the 3rd boy, he always was very shrewd and smart, and he would come to father and say, can you please take me with you when you are going to the different industries? Because the father was a man with thousands of crores. Can you please take me to those companies? You have been running all these companies. Can you make me owner of some of the companies? Can you shift some of your bank accounts in my name? Like that you would ask. Father would tell him, Beta, you first grow up. I will give you, don't worry. Father thought he is too much eager to control money and people and industries and everything. That was 3rd son. And the 2nd son was a very dangerous fellow because he would never come in front of the father, but behind the father's back, he was trying to usurp all the property of the father. He wanted to overthrow the father and take over his industries and bank balance, everything. It was 2nd son. 1st son was the best son because he would never demand anything from the father. He would just eat whatever is cooked at home, lie in one corner, do whatever work father gave him to do. Father trusted him a lot because he was a pure-hearted fellow. Sometimes father would even give him 10 crores, 20 crores to, hand over to somebody, and any amount father can give him, he will not touch a single penny. Father was fully confident. So one day father called the 1st son and said, Beta, amongst all my 5 sons, everybody has some leaning in some direction. But you are the only one I found that you are completely free from any selfish agenda. You simply want to serve me. Father had tears in his eyes. Tell me, what do you want for your personal self? I'll give you. And son said, Papa, you have not left anything for me to ask because you provide me everything, whatever I need, even without my asking. Because you are so concerned about me, you care for me so well, I have nothing to demand from you. I am completely satisfied. That made father even more become touched. So in this father and 5 sons story, who is the father? Who can say? Anybody knows who is the father? Has anybody loudly? Krishna, yeah. So now one very important answer you understood. Who is the 5th son? Who would just open the treasury, take the money and go away, misspending it in smoking, drinking and everything? Who is that? Anybody? Huh? She is saying atheist. Yeah, atheist. Atheistic fellow, sense gratifier, isn't it? They all take God's properties and enjoy, not even asking whom it belongs to. Huh? Correct. And then the 4th fellow, who is it? 4th fellow. 4th fellow is the one who is asking for new model mobile or new model bike. He's saying karma kandi. Huh? They use God as the order supplier. Correct? Huh? I will go to God, whatever I want, I will ask Him, He'll provide me, and tata, that's how I go back. I will do my own thing after that. Only whenever I want, I will go to God. 90% of the worldly population is like that. They go to God, demand this or that, take it and go away. They see Father or God as. Therefore, Prabhupada said, when you say, "Oh Lord, hallowed be thy name, give us our daily bread," they sing, in the churches. So Prabhupada said this, when you make God your Father and you become His child, that means the reference point is yourself. That means you want to enjoy and you want God to serve you. When you become the Son and you make God the Father. But when you make God the Son and you become His Father like Nanda Baba, then who is the center? God is the center. And you are not enjoyer. You are in a mood of serving. Therefore, Prabhupada said, making God as Father and ourselves as children is a very, very low level of religion. It is not very high because you think God as an order supplier. You should make Him the Son. Just like they are bringing Krishna Balram in their home. That means Mataji and Prabhuji, they have to serve Krishna Balram like Yashoda and Nanda. They have to serve them like that with great attention. Yeah. So that 4th fellow is like Karma Kandi. That's correct. 3rd fellow, what was he saying? He was saying that I want to come with you to companies, write off some companies in my name, write off some bank accounts in my name. So who is that fellow? Anybody from behind? Yeah, loudly? No. Anybody else? Anybody else behind? I think all are thinking, I think. Yes? No. Anybody else? Mataji side, Prabhuji side? You understood the example. You want to go with the Father. You want some industries in His name. You want to control money. You want to control industries. You want to control people. You a small boy. Now itself you want to control. Huh? Yeah, who wants to control in this world? Who likes to control? Yeah? Who?
Demons.
Yeah?
Demons.
She's saying demons, she's saying. Oh, right. Yeah, demons are very atrocious. But this boy is not against Father. He actually likes to go with Father, but he wants Father to divert some of the control to him. Somebody said that. Yeah? Demigods like to control also, correct. Demigods also like to control and serve. They want to serve the Lord and also have some control. That is also correct. But here the 3rd person is actually yogi. Like Vishwamitra wanted to create some Trishanku Sarga, no? God is creating, I also want to create. God is controlling, I also want to control. Like Durvasa Muni, thought I can fly in air, I can walk in water, I can control Ambarish, he thought. So they like to do controlling, correct, no? So that is the 3rd fellow, yogi. And who is the 2nd fellow? Everybody knows. 2nd fellow? 2nd fellow was telling, I will not go in front of the Father, but behind his back I will overthrow him and take away all his industries and money in my name. Who is that fellow? Yes, anybody? Somebody shouting loudly. Impersonalist, right? Correct. Mayavadi, impersonalists, you are right. Because Mayavadi impersonalists want to claim themselves to be God. They want to overthrow God and take his position. And the first son everybody knows. Who is the first son? Devotee. See, these 5 sons are explained in only one shloka. You all can repeat after me. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Atayeva Shanta. So Krishna Bhakta Nishkama is the first son. And Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi is the 5th and 4th sons are coming in Bhukti. One is a Astik Bhukti, one is a Nastik Bhukti. One is Nastik Bhukti Kami, another one is Astik Bhukti Kami. 5th one is Nastik, 4th one is Astik. Both are Bhukti Kami. And the 3rd one is Siddhi Kami. And the 2nd one is Mukti Kami. Second one is Mukti Kami, Jnani. 3rd one is Yogi, which is Siddhi Kami. So Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi Kami, Sakale, Ashanta. Krishna Bhakta, Nishkama, Atayeva Shanta. So, therefore, we have to come to the platform of Krishna Bhakta. Otherwise, the other 3, Bhukti, see, those who are Bhukti Kami, their tendency is to become proprietor. Bali Maharaj wanted to be a proprietor. Hiranyakashipu wanted to be a proprietor. Dhritarashtra wanted to be a proprietor. Dhruva wanted to be a proprietor of vast lands. Bhukti Kami. And Mukti Kami means like Saubhari wanted moksha. You can find that there are Mukti Kamis. Or you find Siddhi Kami, you find like Durvasamani or Vishwamitra, they wanted Siddhis. So in the modern times, Siddhi Kami means you like control. Like we have smartphone in which we have control. And people are controlling others in varieties of ways. Now everything in remote. You control TV, control fan, control light. There's also one type of Siddhi only. You control things by remote operation. So if we go beyond these 3 propensities of proprietorship, controllership, enjoyership, then we come to the platform of Krishna Bhakta Nishkama. So in that stage, Lord gives this position to the jivas. So I'll show you this verse. See, one can actually take part in the Lord's Leelas in spiritual world. Krishna says, you have surpassed everything in the material world. Now you come and become a covered boy. Play with me. Kechit venon vadayanto dvanta shrangani kechana kechit bringai pragayanta ujanta kokilai pare. It is said when Krishna entered the forest of Raj, some of the covered boys were playing on flutes. At Venun Vadayanto. And Dvanta Shrangani means some of them imitated the bumblebees. Zzz, they were doing sounds like children you have seen sometimes, they keep their hand like aeroplanes. They do go like that. You have seen that? So they were actually imitating the bumblebees. And Kechit Bringai Pragayantaha is saying. Shrangani means the horns, bugles. They were playing on bugles. Venun means flutes. Some of the boys were playing on flutes, some were playing on horns or bugles, and some of them were Bringai Pragayanta. They were actually imitating the Bringa. Bringa means the bumblebee. And then Kujanta Kokilai Pare means some of them imitated the cuckoos. Sometimes in a tree, you have seen one tree, one cuckoo will make a sound. Coo, isn't it? Then another tree, another bird will give response to this question. Coo, it will give a response. But what the covered boys did, when one kokila would give a sound, coo sound, they would give the response. So the kokil got confused. I am asking one question, this fellow is saying another answer. Because till now answer has not yet come from the other side. So in this way they were playing. Vichaya vipradhavanto gacchanta sadhu hamsakaihi bakairupavitanchascha nrityantascha kalapibihi. Vichaya means when the birds are flying in the sky, their shadow will fall on the ground. So the covered boys will have a competition. Who will catch the shadow? They would run behind the shadows to catch it. Pradhavanto. Pradhavanto means behind the shadow they will run. And gachanta sadhu hansakaihi. Sometimes there were hans pakshis, which are pure white, serene birds, calm birds. So they would also walk, seeing the walk of the Hans Pakshi. Hans Pakshi walks in a very, very gentle manner. Keeps on feet like this, it walks. So they would also walk with him. And the Hansa would get amazed, hey, this fellow is walking exactly like me. Like that. Or Bakair, Bakair Rupa Vishantascha means sometimes they would go next to a duck and calmly sit next to the duck, as if they are also one of the ducks. They would sit like posing like a duck. Or Nrityantascha Kalapibi means they would dance like a peacock, seeing the dance of the peacocks. Vikarshanta Kishabalan Arohantascha Tairdruman Vikuvi Kurvantascha Tai Sakam Plavantascha Palashishu. When they would see the monkeys in the trees, they would imitate their behavior or the sounds. If monkeys would say kick, 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 they would also say kick, 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 kick. They would do like that. And the monkeys would turn around and see, is it another monkey or is it somebody else? Arohanta means to climb up the tree. You know, some of the tree stems would be little slant. So they would also climb up. And Plavantascha Palashishu means they would glide down in those tree slides. It's a risky game. You may topple down and fall also, but the children have no fear. I remember when we were small kids, we would go to marriages sometimes. You know, there would be staircase like this, you know that? From the top, third or fourth floor, you know, the sliding one, we would put one leg outside, one leg inside, you know that? We come like this. We would come like this, and when elders would see, their eyes would become so dilated as if, thunderbolt has fallen from the sky. How can you do this? So immediately we'll get down and we'll see them. And after they are gone, again you do that. Isn't it? Because as children, we don't know the dangers in such adventures. Actually, there is a difference between adventure and foolhardiness. But it's foolhardiness. But these children actually are in spiritual body. They have no problem. Even if they fall also, nothing will happen. So they would glide down, coming down the trees. Sakambhe kaivalanganta sarita Sharvasamplutaha Vyasantah Pratichayaha Shapantascha Pratiswanan. Sometimes the frogs, seeing them jumping with them, the frogs would get frightened. They would jump and jump into the river. So they would also jump into the river. Sarita Sravasamplata means their whole dresses became wet, which the boys didn't mind at all. Because when you come out of the river, within few minutes it will dry up in the sun. Yeah. Vyasanta Pratichaya. Sometimes Krishna would see a big well in the forest, and he would ask some question in the well. Who are you? 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 Like that echo will come. And Krishna will laugh and say, hey, I am asking who are you, and he is asking me who are you. And then Krishna would repeat back, Nanda Baba ka putra hu, Nanda Baba ka putra hu, Nanda Baba ka putra hu. Like that echo would come. Then Krishna would again laugh, and tell his friends, hey, I am saying I am son of Nanda. That fellow is saying he is also son of Nanda. Other than me and Krishna-Balram, who else is son of Nanda? Tell me. Like that he would ask. In this way, Vihasanta Pratichaya, Shapantascha Pratisvanan. They would curse those echoes, saying that, hey, rascal, you are telling, you are cheating us by wrong answers. Like that. And then comes this famous verse, which I showed you now. All of you repeat this verse. Yittam satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena maya shritanam naradarakena Sakam vidahru kritapunya punjaha. What Shukdev Goswami is saying, Shukdev Goswami is admiring Ittam Satam. Ittam means in this way. Satam Brahma Sukhanubhutya. Satam means he is saying that there are many great jnanis. Even after many, many lifetimes of spiritual practices, they are only able to get the tip of the toenail of Krishna shining. Only that shine they are able to see. Nothing more than that. But there are servants of Krishna who consider him as master. Like Vrishnis, for example, they considered Krishna as their master. Yadus. And Maya Shitanam Naradarakena, 9.11 Bhagavad Gita says, Avajananti Mam. So those people consider Krishna to be ordinary covered boy or ordinary mortal. But Sakam Vichakru Krita Punya Punjaha. But those covered boys who have done millions of lifetimes of Sukriti, pious credits, now they are actually dancing and singing of Krishna in Vrindavan. Do you know, in Vrindavan, many of the demigods are hovering in the sky, showing Krishna, Balaram and covered boys entering the forest, showing to other demigods, see how fortunate are these children. They have entered into Krishna Leela by dint of having become completely pure devotees. And we are still stuck in this material world, holding on to some administrative position as a Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, Agni and all that. But how blessed are these covered boys and these calves and cows. So thinking like that, some of the demigods who have the ability to change their form at will, they become calves. And they sneak into the crowd of the cows and calves. And they look like one of the calves. And Krishna is laughing. And he tells Balaram, hey, look at this calf. It is none other than this demigod. He likes to enjoy pastime with us. But the problem with the demigod is after some time he has to go back to his job. He has to leave the crowd and go back to his loka, whichever loka is posted. Whereas the other calves are eternally Krishna's associates. Of course, there were some demons also in Vrindavan who became like a calf. Who is that? Vatsasura. But why they took those forms? There's a reason. When Kamsa once called all the demons and said, my dear demons, look at this Aghasura, Bakasura, Putana, they all have been killed by Krishna. Anyone has any volunteers? You have any ideas for me? He asked. So one demon said, dear sir, we should take on those forms which are very dear to the heart of Krishna. So he will trust us fully. And once he trusts us fully, we can destroy him easily. So then he asked, then what is that form which he trusts the most? Then one demon said, that is the form of a calf. Krishna likes the tender calves. He personally takes them to Yamuna. He spends time with them. So he is very intimate with them. So that's the way we can kill. Then Kamsa asked, so any volunteers for Vatsasur? And then Vatsasur himself came forward. And he became Vatsasur. So sometimes the demons became like a Vatsa, like a calf, or like a Lakshmi. Putana came like a very beautiful form and all that. But they were destroyed. But the point is, you see, many are trying to become dear to Krishna. Demons also want to earn trust of Krishna and they get destroyed. And demigods also want to win the heart of Krishna by becoming a temporary calf for some time. But once a person becomes a pure devotee, Krita Punya Punjaha means they have accumulated heaps and heaps of Bhakti Sukriti, that now they are playing with Krishna on an equal level in Vrindavan. So, therefore you will find, here you see them all running to the forest of Vrindavan. As they are running to the forest, there are trees in the forest. Now Krishna will tell Balaram in the 10th canto, 15th chapter, he will tell, my dear brother, look at these trees. As we are entering into forest, the trees are eager to extend their branches and give flowers and fruits. They want to offer it to you. Please accept them. Take the flowers and put it on your turban. Accept the ripened fruits that the trees are offering. And why the trees were extending their branches and giving like this? Because the trees were looking at the bumblebees who were sitting on the lotuses in Yamuna. There were many beautiful lotuses in Yamuna, yellow color, red color, blue color lotuses. So the bumblebees were enjoying the honey from those lotuses. But as soon as they saw this scene, what you are seeing here, Krishna, Balaram and Kaudva running into forest, immediately they were ready to forego the honey. And they flew and came and sat on the garland of Krishna. So they wanted to go into forest with Krishna and enjoy the delight of being with Krishna. Seeing this, the trees were weeping tears. Gopis are saying this. Gopis are meditating like this. That what is the tears of the trees? The honey which is like a stream flowing from the trees is like the tears of the trees. Why are they in tears? The trees are telling the bumblebees that you are going with Krishna into the forest, but I cannot go because I am stuck on the ground. So you are very blessed. I am not so blessed like you. But at least let me offer some flowers and fruits. So they are extending like this with their branches. The trees are giving to Krishna and Balram. All that they possess, they are yielding. So following in the footsteps of these trees, and Yamuna is also throwing a lotus flower in Krishna's lotus feet. And as Krishna Balram enter the forest, the cuckoos are all cooing and welcoming. They make sweet sounds and welcome. And peacocks are dancing, moving their, and they're walking behind like this. Please come into the forest. I heard once as well as Lokanath Swami Maharaj is speaking. The peacocks are, their body, they're shaking their, the feathers out of ecstasy. They're moving just like our pujaris sometimes do that. You've seen that? Some pujaris very beautifully do. You've seen that? Like that. So the peacocks are all shivering in ecstasy, welcoming Krishna into the forest. See, the best thing peacock can do is to dance. The best thing cuckoo can do is to sing. And the deers were looking at Krishna Balram with eyes laden with love. They are welcoming him. Their eyes only spoke. Some people's eyes also speak. You have seen that? Some people have so much love in their eyes. So the deers had so much love in their eyes while welcoming. Actually, our eyes can also smile if you are very cheerful. Similarly, sadness can be seen in the eyes also. But the deers were in a jubilant mood. With love-laden eyes, they are welcoming Krishna, Balram into the forest. In this way, the forest scene was very beautiful scene, explained. See, they are entering. This is in the 15th chapter. So, Tatascha Gandavayashritau Raje Babhuvatustau Pashupala Sammatau Gascharayantau Sakibis Samam Padair Vrindavanam Punyamativa Chakrato. This verse says, as Krishna entered from Kaumara age to Pauganda age, which means he turned from 5 to 6 now. At that time, Krishna Balram, they both went to mother and father and said, first they went to mother. Later on, they understood it was a mistake to go to mother. They should not have gone. First, when they went to Yashoda and said, Mama, see, we have grown up now. Our body is grown up. Our intelligence is grown up. So now you should permit us to go to forest for herding the cows. Till now, you were only allowing us to herd the calves. And herding calf means Vatsapal. How long can you go? Only around the Nanda Bhavan, that's all. You can't go far away. So Yashoda said, Kana, why should you go to forest? You continue to be Vatsapal all your life. No need to become Gopal. We have so many hundreds of men working with us. They will go to the forest taking the cows. And I can't let you go anywhere away from home. You have to be within the reach of my eyes. Like that Yashoda said. Then Krishna told Balram, big mistake we did. First time we are asking, we should ask the right person. So they went and asked Nanda Baba. Nanda Baba said, who am I to permit you? You should get permission from the other covered men, Upananda and others. So they had a meeting. That's why he says, Babu Vatustau Pashupala Sammatau, he says. Pashupala Sammatau means, Sammati means agreement. All the Pashupal came and had a meeting and then they decided, yes, Krishna Balram can go for herding cows and calves now into the forest. Now they came running to Mother Yashoda and said, Maya, you cannot stop us because they have decided. We are supposed to go. Like that they were saying. And then what they were doing? Gascharayantau sakibissamam padair. And tending to the cows along with their friends. Padai Vrindavanam Punyamativa Chakratu. Such a beautiful statement. When Krishna Balram were walking, they walked barefoot in Vrindavan. Therefore, they were making the land completely virtuous and full of punya. Because Krishna's lotus feet has 16 imprints. And those print marks are there in Vrindavan sand. And that is increasing the glory of Vrindavan. That's what gopis also say in one of the songs. Jayati Tedikam Janmana Vraja. Haribol. Shayatayendira शाश्वतत्र हि बोलिए जयति तेदिकं जन्मना व्रजा सजत इंदिरा शाश्वतत्र हि. What they are saying? Jayati te adhikam. Vrindavana has become more fortunate by your footprints, that you are putting on the land of Raja. Look at the picture. Krishna Balaram are walking barefoot and increasing the sanctity of that holy land of Vrindavana, walking with the cows and calves. Tanmadavo venu mudirayan vrito गोपैर्गृणद्भि स्वयशो बलान्वितः पशून् पुरस्कृत्य पशव्यमाविशत् विहर्तु कामः कुसुमाकरं वनं. Such a beautiful verse. Thus desiring to enjoy the pastimes, Lord Madhava, sounding his flute, surrounded by covered boys who were chanting his glories, accompanied by Lord Baladev, kept the cows before him and entered the Vrindavan forest, which was full of flowers and rich with nourishment for animals. Pashun puraskritya pashavyam avishad vihartu kamaha kusumakaram vanam. See the word vihartu kamaha, he says. What is the meaning of vihartu? Means Krishna enjoys and gives enjoyment to others also. In this world, if you enjoy, others can't enjoy. You can see that. And you enjoy one thing. Sometimes you find in a Maruti car, 2 in the front, 3 in the back. Other people you say, take outside bus and come. So you captured the place first, so they cannot enjoy the ride in the car. They have to come by bus. Whereas in Krishna's case, when Krishna enjoys, all the jivas also enjoy being his part and parcels. Because in Krishna consciousness, there is no lacking. For example, if there is one girl, 2 boys want to marry, they cannot marry. Only one can marry her. Isn't it? Whereas when it comes to Krishna, if 2 people want to love Krishna, there is no limit. Millions of people can love Krishna. And Krishna can expand himself into millions of forms also. Similarly, if any of you here say that, Prabhuji, can I chant 4 rounds extra? Nobody will be envious of you. They will say, why only 4? Chant 40 also. But as far as I don't have to chant, no problem. Correct, no? So in Krishna consciousness, this is the beauty. There is no limitation. You go to the kitchen and ask, Prabhu, can I help in cutting sabji? They will say, why not? Most welcome. Of course, if you go to company and ask, can you give me a job? They will say no, because they have to pay you money. Whereas in Krishna consciousness, nobody asks any money. People want to voluntarily serve. So therefore, you see, when Krishna is entering forest, all the jivas are waiting to love him and serve him in varieties of ways, which I told you. Now I am going to conclude my talk, just showing you the pictures now, because you heard what I was about to tell you now already. See, showing to Balaram how peacocks are dancing, cuckoos are cooing and welcoming. And he's telling Balaram, earth is fortunate by your touch, trees are bowing at your lotus feet. See, these trees, are they offering flowers to Krishna or are they offering to Balaram? Yes? See, they are all fond of Krishna. Krishna is the Lord. Balaram is also one of the servants of Krishna. That being the case, why is Krishna saying to elder brother? 2 reasons. One reason is Balaram is the elder, Krishna is younger. So being younger, Krishna follows the etiquette of offering everything to elder. That's one reason. Another reason, like I had gone to somebody's house. Once His Grace Devakinanda Prabhu told us that when you go to rich man's house, you should know where to sit. There are many etiquettes to be followed. Like, there's a long sofa, that's a long sofa. In between, there is one seat is there. You should not sit there. That is for whom? That's for the owner. So therefore, you should follow those etiquettes. So I asked him, I saw the long sofa, can I sit here? I asked him. He said, Swamiji, this whole house is your house only. You can sit wherever you want. You can sit here, you can sit in the table, you can sit wherever you are comfortable, you can sit. So in India, there is a custom. Whenever you go to somebody's place, they will say, it's all yours. How many of you know this etiquette? You have seen that? People say that. It's all yours. Similarly, if you ask for some item, they will say, take as much as you want. They will have no limit. Similarly, Krishna is telling, all these are offering worship to you, Balramji. Yeah. So they both are enjoying tending the cows and other animals with the friends in the bank of Yamuna. So Yashoda Maya will keep dreaming, when will they come back? See, I told you, no? They play all these different games. See, Krishna is imitating the peacock. So all the animals and birds were calling Krishna with deep voice and with affection. Sometimes they would imitate like a tiger chasing after the deers. Some boys would run away like deers, others would jump like a tiger. They're playing games. They're imitating the cry of birds, chakora, chakravaha, peacocks. When Balram is fatigued, he is keeping his leg on the lap of a boy and Krishna is massaging the feet. This goes to show Godhead gives up his godhood in Vrindavan. And he does not play God in Vrindavan. He plays the role of a servant of Balram, a servant of covered boys, lifting them on his shoulder and all that. And Krishna and Balram are glorifying their friends. See, one boy is singing, keeping Balram on his lap. Another boy is playing shank. Another boy is fanning Balram. So this is Vrindavan. It's a place completely free from tension. There is no, although Krishna is God, he doesn't control the jivas like God controls jivas through Maya in this world. Why we have to be controlled in this world? Because we tend to be very naughty and mischievous and we give trouble to other living entities. Therefore, we have to be controlled. Like sometimes even children also become very adamant in snatching the toys of other children. You've seen that? And they will kick the other children or bite the other children also. Then you have to control. And the child will ask the mother, why are you controlling me? You have to be controlled, otherwise you will bite other children. They have to be controlled. But when all children become good children, nobody snatches anybody's toy. They are very polite and respectful, helpful, selfless. Then what is the need for control? So Vrindavan doesn't require any control. Vrindavan is a beautiful abode. Yatranai sarga durvaira sahasan mrigadayah mitrani yiva ajitavasa drutaruttarshakadikam. Vrindavan is free from thirst, hunger and anger, he says. There, naisargically, and that means the naturally inimical animals also are friendly there, he says in Vrindavan. Yeah. See, now Krishna is lying on some Gopa's lap and others are massaging his feet. So in this way, there is a selfless love that keeps them all bound together. See, this is Yashoda's absorption. She is talking to her friends. Where will my Kana be now? Maybe he is, playing with his friends or he is lying down, he is resting. He must have come at this time. So, in one of the Padyavali verses, Rupa Goswami says, when Krishna was coming in the evening, he saw in Nanda Bhavan Mother Yashoda standing at the entrance and trying to see whether Krishna is coming. So Krishna wanted to increase her suspense. So he increased the dust storm which was raised by the cow's hoofs. Cow started jumping too much as soon as Krishna desired. Because of that, the dust storm was created. So Yashoda could not clearly see. She thought Krishna is coming. Now Krishna doesn't seem to be coming. So Krishna thought that I will increase the suspense of Mother Yashoda by doing this. But Yashoda was more intelligent. She called one very tall gopi and she said, go to the rooftop and see whether Krishna is coming. So the gopi went, came back and said, yes, Krishna, Balram, covered boys, everybody is back. Only there's a big dust storm in front of him. So don't worry. Very soon they're coming. So here, our Acharyas say that why did Krishna create the dust storm? Because the more the suspense and anticipation in life, more that ecstasy of the devotees increases manyfold. Like he says, Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahename. So in the spiritual world, you will see, although there is no suffering in spiritual world, nevertheless there is a spiritual anxiety. The eagerness to see Krishna, fearing that, Yashoda fears that, may monkeys not scratch Krishna's body, or may the cows not put their hoofs on Krishna's lap when he is sitting, or may the bulls and cows having sharp horn, let them not, tear Krishna's body. She is very afraid. May Krishna not fall into some kunds or ponds in Vrindavan. May Kamsa not send his demons to attack my child. So she has many fears. Yashoda has. But those fears only intensify Krishna's remembrance in her heart. Similarly, Prabhupada said, when you get deities in your home, like Krishna-BALRAM Deity or Radha-Krishna Deity, we should also take spiritual anxiety. What is their anxiety? Daily I should do arati for them. Daily I should offer them bhoga on time. I should dress them, decorate them, put up festivals for them, make them happy, be attentive to their needs. So we should also take anxiety. So the pujaris have to be very punctual and clean. And in this way, in the Bhagavatam it is said like this, Lord Krishna concealed his opulences, enjoying like a village boy. But often he exhibited Isha Cheshtita, means sometimes he showed even to covered boys who he is, actually, how he is God, occasionally. But most often he concealed his opulences to relish the joy of playing with the covered boys. So Krishna would give, Balram would give assurance to Mother Yashoda that do not fear, I am here with Krishna. Even if Kamsa sends any demons, I will be there to protect your son, don't worry. So Yashoda was pacified by Balram's availability. She even told Balram that I cannot control this fellow, Krishna. He is always very dashing. His body is soft like butter, but he is always very dashing and naughty. She saw that smaller covered boys and said, hey, you fellows are all gliding down in the Govardhan mountain, I heard. Why do you play such dangerous games? Because I found some scratch marks on Krishna's body. Did you play such games? She was asking. All the covered boys are looking at each other. What to speak now? Should we say yes or no? If you say yes, Yashoda will say, now you cannot take Krishna with you. If they say no, it will be a lie. So what is the best answer? Keep mum. They kept mum. And Yashoda said, will you ever play such games in future? Promise me. You will not play. So Krishna said, God promised. Because he is only God. And covered boys also said, Maya, we will not play. Especially when elders are around, we will not play. They said, what is the meaning of that? When there are no elders around, then we will play. So in this way, Krishna and Balram and covered boys. This is Krishna with covered boys. I was planning to sing this. Are we late? Or we can sing 5 minutes and end. What do you think? I can sing this in 5 minutes? Yeah. Adharam madhuram vadanam madhuram adharam nayanam madhuram hasitam madhuram nayanam hridayam madhuram gamaram madhuram hridayam madhuram madhuradipate rakitam madhuram madhuradipate rakitam madhuram. Krishna is playing on the flute in the moonlit night of Chitraman in the Kadambakanan forest. His lips are shining, so they are very beautiful. And his face is like a full moon, it's very beautiful. And his eyes are like lotus petals, they are very beautiful. And his smile is also beautiful. And his heart is very beautiful because how he loves Sudama and how he loves covered boys. His heart is very beautiful. And he's walking to the forest along with the cows and calves. His lotus feet are very beautiful when he walks. In this way, everything about Madhuradipati Krishna is beautiful. Venur Madhura, Renur Madhura, Panir Madhura, Pado Madhura, Panir Nrityam Maduram Sakhyam Maduram Nrityam Maduram Maduradipate Akilam Maduram Maduradipate. So when Krishna plays on the flute, it's so nectarian that cows stop eating grass and the calves stop drinking milk, and they attentively hear to the flute sound. And dust of his lotus feet is also very sweet, because the dust is delivering Kalyanag. And his hands are Amritamaya hands, because with Krishna with his lotus hands wipes the perspiration on the faces of the gopis, and the gopis felt the hands were like lotus, fragrant. Just like when you buy a new pink rubber, when you take it out, it has a fragrance. Like that, Krishna's hands were fragrant like that. Vanir Madhura. Pado Madhura means his lotus feet are also very beautiful. And with those lotus feet, he has done a lot of good work. He has let Ganga flow in this world from that lotus feet. With that lotus feet dust, he delivered Ahilya. The same lotus feet are massaged by Lakshmi. The same two lotus feet he kept on the head of Bali and made him one of the Mahajanas. Lotus feet have done a lot of 16 symbols are there in lotus feet. Nrityam Madhura means his dance is very beautiful on the hoods of Kalya. And also small Krishna would dance in the middle of elderly gopis. That dance also is very beautiful. His friendship with Sudama and friendship with Arjuna is also very beautiful. Geetam Maduram Petam Maduram Geetam Maduram Bhuktam Maduram Suptam Maduram Rupam Maduram Tilakam Maduram Maduradipate Akilam Maduram Maduradipate Maduradipate Akilam Maduram. His Gita Madhura means his Bhagavad Gita is very sweet, and his Pitambar is also shining very beautifully as Bhishma Pitamaha saw it. And the gopis also glorify the Pitambar. And Bhuktam Madhuram, even his eating is very beautiful to see, especially in the bank of Yamuna, along with the covered boy sitting in a circle. Krishna exchanges different items and eats. And also he is eating as Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, Chapan Bhog, and he is an eating god in Jagannath Puri. And who is the sleeping god? Ranganath. So Ranganath is sleeping and the whole world is coming to watch him sleeping. Sleeping beauty, eating beauty. And Rupam Madhuram, his form is very beautiful. He stands in a threefold bending form. And his Kasturi Tilakam Dalaka Patale, very beautiful tilaka he wears on his forehead. So I only took 3 paras. So these pastimes should be remembered in our lives when we are worshipping the deities of Krishna-Balram. If you remember these pastimes that are elaborately described in the Srimad Bhagavatam and you worship the deities, then you can wholeheartedly worship them. You can worship them like Yashoda and Nanda very fondly dealt with Krishna and Balram. So the deity form of the Lord in this world appears to offer the benefit to the devotee. Like the Prachetas are saying, what they're saying? Rupam Bhagavatatu yattad ashesha klesha sankshayam avishkritam na klishtanam kamanyat anukampitam. What, other than your compassion, for what other reason you should appear in this world? You have no reason to come here, they are saying. We are all delighting in suffering in this world, they are saying. And another name for material enjoyment is suffering, they are saying. But you are appearing in this world as a deity in our homes to beautify the home, sanctify the home, decorate the home, spread light in the home, awaken the people sleeping at home and in the neighborhood, and to receive our services and to bless us with freedom from Maya and elevation in wisdom, and fill our hearts with boundless bliss. So in this way, with this consciousness, we should welcome the Lord in our homes and worship. And I request all of you sitting here to bless this family of Sundar Krishna Prabhu, his good wife. She is Shivakamani Mataji, correct? Shrika. I remember the whole name only. Yeah. Still, I remember most of the devotees when I see them, I remember the whole name. So Shri Kamini Mataji and Gopi Lila. Gopi Lila is not yet initiated, right? Gopi Lila? Okay, yeah. Gopi Lila is, parents gave the name Gopi Lila. So we request all of you sitting here to bless this family, that besides taking care of Gaur Nitai, let them also very nicely take care of this Krishna Balram. And through Krishna Balram, just like Krishna Balram is attracting all of us to Vrindavan. After hearing these pastimes, how many of you feel, I immediately want to go there, you feel? Isn't it? So like that, may Krishna Balram attract everybody, manifesting their beauty in the home of Sundar Krishna Prabhu. Thank you. Shil Prabhupada ki, Bhakta Vrinda ki.
Vivavare shesha aloka pravesha nidrachari utha deva. Vivavare shesha aloka pravesha. Bolo Hare Hare Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva. Narsimha Vamana Shri Madhusudana Prajendra Nandana Shyama. Putana Ghatana Kaitava Shatana Jaya Dasharati Rama. Yashodharala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara. Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundaravara. Ravanantakara Makhana Taskara Gopi Jana Vadrahari. Brajera Rakhala Gopa Vrinda Pala Chitta Hari Vamshidhari. Yogendra Vandana Shri Nandanandana Brajadara Vayahari. Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Vamshi Vihari. Yashodanandana Kamsani Shodana Nikunjarata Vilasi. कादम्बकानन रासपरायण बृंद विपिन निवासे आनंदवर्धन प्रेम निकेतन कुलचर योजक कामा गोपांगनागण चित्त विनोदन समस्त गुण गणधामा आनंदवर्धन यमुना जीवन केली परायण मानस चंद्र चकोरा यमुना जीवन गावो कृष्णायश राघवतन मन मोरा नाम सुधारत गो कृष्णायश राघवतन मन मोरा बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन राम कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन राम Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, गोविंद हरि गोपाल हरि बलराम हरि जय कृष्ण हरि बलराम हरि जय कृष्ण हरि जय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 हरे
हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna जय राधा कुंज बिहारी राधा कुंज बिहारी राधा कुंज बिहारी श्री राधे प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमती शिवाइंद्रे तव चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की ISKCON पौंडराचार्य विद्या पौंडराचार्य शिवाइंद्रे श्री प्रभुपाद की जय ओम पाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमती शिवाइंद्रे भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर श्री प्रभुपाद की नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम वैराग्य मूर्ति गौर किशोरदास बाबा जी महाराज की नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट ओम वैष्णव सार्वभौम जगन्नाथ दास बाबा जी महाराज की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंज राधा कुंज गिरि गोवर्धन की ब्रज भूमि वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की द्वारकापुरी धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की श्री मायापुर नवदीप धाम की श्री चंद्रपुर धाम की गंगामयी यमुनामयी